If ever, oh ever, a whiz there was, this wizard is one. Because... Hello everyone, I'm Father Aaron. Welcome to
The Dungeon Minister!
Okay, our heroes have looted the dragon horde, having killed Morag the Great and 4 of her 5 children. The 5th lingers about, way up in the sky, just watching, for now. They have looted the treasure which honestly belonged to the goblins. Actually, it dishonestly belonged to the goblins because the goblins stole it themselves, most of it, and they didn't feel too bad looting it. They have done so with the assistance of the mysterious wizard whom they first met on the northern shore of the Great Northern Sea, and who reappeared just before they went to the Goblin Caves, reappeared telling them that they were to retrieve for him a large gem. It's not the Arkenstone, a large gem, and to bring it to him. Okay, before they could sort any details or even agree to do it, he vanished, right? Just assumed everything was good. Well, while they were in the dragon's lair and looting through the treasure, dislodging it from the ice, the wizard showed up, helped dislodge it, and then was very helpful getting it out. I mean, he used a magic item that he has, a nail of restoration, which I could really use around our house. Not all of the mechanical bits of the war wagon, the steam boiler, the killer chains, and everything else. No, but the wooden bits. He got wheels back on the thing so it could be pulled by the horses, minus a couple of horses because Fleetwood and Touchberry lost their mounts to the dragon's breath. It's a long story. Go watch the episode. Anyway, he was very helpful in assembling this thing and getting them out of there. Now, why? Maybe because he just wanted to get them going, because he knew the goblins were coming, and there was another dragon out there. Maybe he just wanted to get them out. Maybe he has some other reason. I will admit one reason was that the DM just wanted to wrap the session up and did not want to play 3 more months of going back and forth from the north back to Honeywood, the north back to Honeywood. It would kill me. It would kill me. So that was part of it, but he does have his own reasons. He does. Whatever his reasons, out they go. Out of the goblin caverns and out of the goblin realm, down one of the ramps that goes down the mountain to the valley and westward into the forest. When the party asked the wizard, "Why did you have us get this gem? What is this about? What is it for?" he merely replied, "You have a job to do." Which is, not creepy or anything. So for a while they travel with the wizard, and they do so because they figure, why not? I mean, he's got the wagon, and is he going to let them keep the nail? If he takes the nail out of the wagon, it falls apart again, presumably, and then how are they going to get all of this treasure all the way back down to Honeywood? It's a lot of stuff. They don't have the carrying capacity, right? So they travel with him for a little bit. They figure they're going to bide their time, see what he does, watch him very carefully because they are still convinced he's a bad guy, but for now they'll trust him. However, this trust will only go so far. The first night in camp, after they have ridden away from the mountain, and remember, they were in there for quite some time, just digging all that treasure out, so it's already into the afternoon when they leave, so they don't get real far away. But the first night when they make camp, the wizard is withdrawn. He's quiet, doesn't say a lot, although he does produce food. From somewhere in his robes, he's pulling out food, a feast of food for the party, which is good because they don't have a lot of food left. The last time they got provisions was from the ice dwarves, and they didn't get a whole lot of food from them. And before that, it was way back at the Gende village. The food they brought from home has long since run out, right? They've long since burned through their iron rations. So they needed some, and he's pulling out fresh food. Well, he has a bag of holding with him, and he's got food in it, right? So that's where he's producing it from. And there's some magic involved as well. But after he produces the food, he withdraws and sits quietly. In fact, they're suspicious about the food. Not that it's poisoned. Oh, they eat it. They eat it right away. And I think to myself, wow, if this was a bad guy, he just poisoned y'all, and y'all dead. I don't know why I became Southern there. I don't know why poisoning people makes me feel Southern. I don't think Southerners poison people, do they? I hope not, because I do love me some Southern food. Anyway, they're not suspicious that it's poisoned, but they are suspicious of his motivations. He's doing this to win favor. He's trying to make us, to throw off the scent and make us trust him, But they question why he gave it to them. So finally they confront him. Look, we're not traveling with you tomorrow. We're not going anywhere with you until you tell us where we're going and why and what the big gem is about and what's this whole deal.
All right. I suppose you have a right to know something. Sit. The gem is not a gem.
Whoa, dude, that's deep.
No. This isn't a philosophical thing. This is not a pipe. No. It is not a gem. It is a seed. A seed for the great tree. The high tree, lord of all the trees. It once grew, tall and strong, and in its shade all good was to be found. Around it gathered all of the magical powers of life, and they defended this valley from death. That is, until the great cataclysm. You have heard of the Goblin Wars of 200 years ago?
Oh yes, it's and all of the great battles, and they reached down even as far as Honeywood.
The great tree kept evil at bay. During the cataclysm, it was destroyed. Destroyed by another dragon. Perhaps an ancestor of Morag's. Although dragons are so long-lived, it may have been her. But it was destroyed. Demolished and in flooded evil. The goblins found the seed of the tree.
Wait. This is Fleetwood. I'm no botanist, but I know that if you plant a seed, it breaks open and is gone when the tree is present, right? Like once the tree grows, it's gone.
A normal tree, yes, perhaps this was no normal tree. No. When the Lord of Trees died, it faded, withered, shrank back,
and here he pulls out the gem.
Back to the seed. The seed of the Lord Tree.
The gem sparkles in his hands, and in it they seem to see colors moving, life itself swirling.
We must replant this seed.
Oh, replant a seed? No biggie, easy peasy. Sure, we'll help you plant a seed.
The seed must be planted in a very particular place. That place has been cursed. I cannot enter.
Okay, in the back of my mind, there's this half-baked idea that this wizard was, I don't know, the guardian of the tree, or it was known that he was trying to replant the tree, and so a force of evil put a curse on the land around the planting site so that he, specifically he, could not get in. And because the spell was tailored to him, even though he's a very powerful magic user, he cannot breach the curse because it is specific to him. So he has to convince someone else to do it. Of course, the first obstacle was that the goblins had the thing in their lair. They had taken it. They'd found the seed and taken it off to their own realm, and then the dragon took the realm, and this becomes even harder to get out. So, long story short, finally, finding out that the dragon was to be attacked, the dragon was to be taken out, there was a possibility of reclaiming the seed. Now he has not only the seed, but a group of adventurers who have proven themselves to be capable, who might help plant it. Oh. So we just have to go to the place and plant the seed?
Yes. I will tell you where to find it. I will show you. I will get as close as I can. You must do the rest.
All right. Okay. They talk about it around the table. Do we want to do this? Or do we want to kill him and take the wagon and go south? They pretty much agree that if they attack him, they're probably done for, and they would be. So, no, we won't do that. Yeah, we'll help him out. Fine. So they get a good night's sleep, and they wake up the next morning and continue in a westward direction, which is where they wanted to go anyway. They are looking for the other end of the pass, which goes down to the Dwarven area, because they want to visit the Shire again. I'm not sure why. I think Touchberry might want to get married. I think that's what's behind it. I'm not sure. But anyway, they want to go in that direction. So they're perfectly happy to go west because they know that the entrance to this pass must be over there somewhere, right? Now, in the middle of this, they are also asking the question, where is Skain? Skain was going to meet us there at the Goblin Mountain and, have a share of the treasure. Where is he? So I sort of forgot to get Skain back there. That was a DM thing that had just slipped my mind. The, 18, 24-foot tall giant just right out of my head. So, all right, we got to get Skain in here somewhere. So they decide they're going to use the crystal ball, and they're going to see where Skain is. And so they get out the crystal ball, and they say, show me Skain. And again, the crystal ball is not going to give them much information. It doesn't want to help them. It is an object of evil. So it has to do what they ask, but it doesn't have to do it, well. So they see Skain, and they can just make out. I say it's very cloudy where he is, but he seems to be ducking and crawling through tunnels, and it looks like he's upset about something and cursing something. What he's cursing is the party, because they were supposed to do the running back and forth. His hope had been to stay out in the larger passages of the Goblin Realm and let them traipse back and forth to the places that are difficult for him to get to, bring out the treasure, and then he would either just take it and leave or kill them and take it and leave, right? Because he really doesn't have that big of an attachment to this party. So they see him, and they can work out from the vision. He is crawling into the Goblin's throne room, into the dragon's lair, to go and see if he can find any treasure. Whether the goblins arrive while he's there, who knows? Satisfied that they know where Skain is, they continue on their journey. It's going to take a little bit longer, so they have another night's camp. I am, by the way, rolling random encounters during this. Nothing comes up until this night. They've made camp, they've had another feast from the wizard, and they've tucked themselves in to sleep. It is the first watch, and Bob Johnny is on the watch, and an encounter comes up, and so I roll for surprise. Obviously behind the screen, Bob Johnny, you're sitting at the fire warming yourself, because even though ever since Morag died, the valley has been getting warmer and warmer, it's not toasty warm, right? It's still cool, especially at night. So you're just sitting at the fire warming your hands, and you hear the crackle of the fire. When your keen elf hearing detects crackle in the woods, the snapping of a twig, something approaches. He quickly wakes up his companions. The wizard refuses to wake up. He says, no, I'm very comfortable. You deal with it. Okay. Wakes up his companions, and they all get ready, and they watch. And now, the infravision, there are two elves, and of course, Touchberry has a cat's eye marble, which allows him to see in the dark. They begin to see movement. If they stand in front of the fire is behind them. It helps so their infravision isn't blown out. They can see movement. Things approaching. Dog-like somethings. Wolves. Fleetwood says, dire wolves, werewolves. And Touchberry says, they're wolves. Here, sword. These are just normal wolves. They begin to close in, and they see they are surrounded on all sides. There are 18 wolves in the pack. The odds aren't great, and they're spread out, so lightning bolt can only take out so many. What are we going to do? Well, the wolves are not attacking. They are watching. closing in, looking for an opportunity, watching for a weakness. And so the party is determined not to show them any weakness. But 3 of them break off from the pack and start circling closer, as if they're just coming in to test and see what will happen if they get a little close, the way pack animals do. They test out a situation. And as they draw close, Bob Johnny fires off magic missile, 1 at each of the creatures. Boom, 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 they are hit. Yelp, yelp, yelp. They're not killed. Wolves are stronger than that. But they yelp, and they turn away. All right, will that do it? Those 3 have moved away, but others begin circling. Nope. Those 3 were hurt, but not killed. Whatever it is can hurt you, but it's not deadly. Let's go have dinner. Begin to close in, and it is inevitable. Combat. Roll for initiative. I don't remember who won initiative. I have a suspicion it was the wolves. What I do know is that the party does not have a lot of luck with their dice in this fight. The wolves are dodging in, attacking, and then leaping back out into the circle, right? Into the protection of the pack. And they keep circling and getting closer, and the circle gets tighter and tighter and tighter. At one point, Bob Johnny, with Brasingas and the axe on fire, goes chopping through them and heads out of the camp. And they're like, come back, Bob Johnny! But by the time he realizes how far he's gotten, he's separated, and now he is surrounded and fighting on his own, essentially. Fortunately, that axe with a fire is keeping the wolves at bay. Meanwhile, Fleetwood is fighting. He's webbing some of the wolves. Foefire's got her bow and is trying to pick them off, but in the dark, she can't see, so I give her a penalty on her attack rolls because she can only see by the firelight, and it's not a really big fire. They had actually said, let's not have a big fire because we don't want to attract attention. So it's not a big fire. She can't see very well. She's trying her best, though. Anything that comes close, she's trying to pick off. And Touchberry ends up isolated around a clump of trees. On the other side of a clump of trees, he ends up fighting 2 wolves himself, backed up against the trees and the wagon. And he really can't get out of it. So he ends up there, and it's looking bad for him until Fleetwood can break away and distract some of the wolves, because behind the 2 that Touchbearer were fighting are 2 or 3 more are coming in, right? They're all closing in. It's a huge fight, and it lasts for quite a while. Finally, with the ones that were webbed and enough magic missiles flying out there and arrows and swords and everything else, the wolves decide they've had enough. Bob Johnny has kept the ones away from him. He's killed a couple and wounded a couple who then make morale checks and run off, or one made a morale check and stayed. But he's done enough damage that they've left him alone eventually, and they finally melt back into the forest. The old man sits up.
Well, that took you long enough. Go back to sleep.
All right. And useless, this guy. Next day, they continue traveling. Finally, they come to a small clearing, and the old man says, Here. Over there. And at the edge of the clearing, there are 3 trees that sort of stand distinct from the rest of the forest, and they're standing in a pretty perfect triangle.
And he says, You must go into the midst of those 3 trees. There is a stone on the ground, and, you'll find your way.
What do you mean we'll find your way?
If I tell you how to get there, then it will be as if I am going in, and you shall not be able to enter. You must go on your own, and with your own intelligence, your own insight. Watch. Remember.